One of the more common ways of sharing Excel documents is also to print the document and use it in meetings or for one to read. In this video, we will learn about how to print from your Excel document. So let's go to the File menu, File, and then click Print. And you will see here a preview of what you're going to print on the right side. And here we have two pages, so it shows one of two, and we can go to the next one and see the second page. And this is our preview, and at the right bottom corner you can click on this one to show margins or not to show margins. Margins are nothing but the white space on the edges of your paper. And then I can zoom in to a level and then I can zoom out back. There's not much more control over the content or the preview, but this is the preview that we get in this view. And on the left side, you have more settings and options. At the top, you can actually have you can actually select the number of copies that you want to print. You can connect to a specific printer. If you have printers connected to your computer, they will appear here, and you can change the settings for your print. For example, you can print only the active sheets, or you can print the entire workbook with all the sheets. And also you can print only one specific selection of cells that you already selected. And we will talk about this shortly. And the portrait orientation, and this is, if I change this to landscape, you will see the preview change. Landscape is nothing but it's a wider orientation. If you have lots of columns, you will probably choose landscape orientation to fit all of them. If you have fewer columns but lots of rows, you will choose portrait, which is a vertical type of orientation. You can choose the different pages depending on the page you want to print on in your printer. And you can choose margins here from a preset normal, wide, and narrow. And as you can see here, these are preset with certain values. And if I choose narrow, then you will see that the margins have become narrow, which means you can print more stuff on paper. Or you can choose wide margins, which means you can print only fewer things on your paper. Normal is normal. The last setting option here is scaling. So here we can only see part of our table. You have to scroll to the next page to see the second. So we can actually do scaling. Scaling is nothing but Excel can change the size of the data that we have or the information that we have, and it can try to fit all the information into one page if we wanted to. So let's say fit sheet on one page. Now we have only one page and Excel is trying to fit everything. And in many cases, it may not be what you want because the size may become too small for you to read. But this is something which can be handy if you have, for example, here we have data going from page 1 to page 2, only 2 columns. So I was able to fit it all in one page. And now let's also change it to landscape. And now it's much more easy to read. And when I print it, I believe I can actually read them easily. And I can also fit all the columns on one page or all the rows on one page. And these are options where you can try to shrink your data so that you can see things in a certain way. So just for illustration, I will put it back to no scaling for now. And the last link here you see is the page setup. When you click that, you will have more options, not only the things that we have seen on orientation and scaling and paper size. On margins, you can actually type in specific margin values you want, so it gives you more control. You also have header and footer options. Header is nothing but the information will be displayed at the top of your page on every page that you print in this sheet. And also footer will be at the bottom of each page. And this is usually where you choose, for example, page numbers. On the headers, you can have the name of the worksheet or name of the Excel workbook. So these are some options that you can choose, or you can go to custom and you can type in whatever you want to be presented as a header or a footer. and I'm going to click cancel because we don't want to make any of those changes now. Now, there are also other views that we can have. For example, we talked about this preview not being very good or detailed in some cases. So you can use, for example, the view ribbon here. When we go to the view ribbon, there is a page layout view. And if I click the page layout view, it'll actually display the pages, how they're going to be printed. And this is probably the best view you're going to get of what is going to be printed in one page and not the other. And so here we can see that this column is actually going to move into the second page. And this is the best view. You can zoom in however you want to see clearly. You can also change the content of your cell because you actually have control, or you have access to all the commands that you need to have. So this is one of the views. Normal is the default view that we've always worked with. Page break view is a view where it actually shows the page breaks. And you can adjust where the page breaks are by clicking and dragging them with the mouse. The page breaks are shown with the blue border, and I'm going to click OK. And we can zoom in this view. So when you zoom in, you will see that there is a blue dashed line here, and that shows the page break. Page break is nothing but it's the break from one page to the next. So anything to the left of this here will be in one page, and then this is page number 2. So if I want to extend this page break into here, because I don't want only that column to be in the second page, I want everything to be in the first page. So now we have changed or edited the page break. This is one benefit of using the page break view. You can actually change the page break to make it fit the way you want it to fit. Another thing I want you to know is there is the page layout ribbon, and this also gives you control over margins that we've talked about, orientation. You can choose the page size. You can choose the print area, which we will talk about a little bit more in detail. And you have the page breaks. You can insert your own page breaks if you want, or remove the page breaks. So all of this page setup, when you click this arrow, this should be familiar to you. So all of this is now here also. In some of the most commonly used options are available in the ribbon, but you have more control over here. And if you have noticed, by default, Excel will actually print the active data. What that means is that Excel doesn't print all the 17 billion cells we have. Excel is detecting, in this case, the last active cell is this cell here. So when we try to print, Excel will only print from A1 until here. So Excel detects the active area in a worksheet so that it only prints that. And that's why when we went and said print, Excel was only showing us this. We didn't do any specific selection. Excel was able to detect the first cell and the last active cell. And this is how Excel behaves by default. But in some cases, you may want to control which cells get printed. So for example, I can just choose only these cells. And if I want only this to be printed, I can go here to the page layout ribbon, print area, set print area. So now Excel will show us a preview here with the dotted line here and say this is what is going to be printed. So let me go and choose print. And you will see in the print preview only those information that we selected. So now we made one set of cells, or we selected one set of cells, and Excel is able to print them specifically. We can go back and let's say I want to add another group of cells at the bottom here. So I'm going to go to page layout, and now I have another option to say add to print area. So I'm going to click this. And now let's go back and view the print preview. And now you see only the first set here, but when you go to the next page, you see the second set. So Excel can print multiple ranges of cells. They will print them in separate pages, but you can select them and then print all of them together in one print. If I click print here, Excel will print 2 pages, one with this set of data, and the second page will have the second set of data. Now, finally, let's see how we can print charts. So I'm going to go back to our report worksheet where we have charts. So once I select the chart and I'm going to hit File, Print, the shortcut for this is Control P. And when you do File, Print, you see that only the chart is selected. Nothing else is selected. So when you have a chart selected and then you do File, Print or Control P, then you actually are able to print that chart separately.